Good morning and welcome to the September 16th edition of the Fredericksburg Standard Radio Post news broadcast. On this show, we review what was covered in the September 15th newspaper, along with what's coming up for future editions. And my name is Sam Sutton. I'm a reporter here at the Standard, and I'm joined by Reed Graff.
What's up?
Sports editor at the Fredericksburg Standard. And generally, Madeline Watson joins us, but she is out today. She is in California, visiting with some family and having some fun out there. So hope you're having a safe and fun trip, Madeline. So we'll jump right in here. Over the past few weeks, we've been asking you, the readers and viewers, about for your COVID stories. And recently we got a phone call from Dorothy Weinheimer, who's a resident, longtime resident and native here in Fredericksburg. And her husband died in July of 2020 of COVID-19. His name was Clarence Red Weinheimer. He was 87 years old, but he was a healthy individual. He was in the nursing home, and he actually tested positive twice. The first time he tested positive, he was totally fine, and then he was admitted to a COVID ward and stayed there for a while until receiving a negative test. But then whenever he was taken out of the COVID ward, he started experiencing symptoms, and he never really recovered from that. But I talked to the family, to the daughters of Mr. Red Weinheimer, and got a feature on them, and I was very honored to tell their story. And so check that out. It starts on page AB1 of the paper. And you know, they were really good people, and I really appreciate them sharing their story with us. The second thing I wanted to talk about is the short-term rental workshop that was held by the city of Fredericksburg this Monday, and it just kind of detailed some of the pros and asked residents to speak, you know, what they thought about the proposed ordinances, and those proposed changes can be seen on fbgtx.org, and they just detail how they're going to affect zoning and how it's going to affect, codes for STRs. So check that out. And check out the story we had on the top of the paper this week, which details local residents and business owners' thoughts on STRs. We also had a Q&A with Mike Starks of Remax Town and Country, just his thoughts on STRs and how these proposed changes could impact the industry. And we will play a clip here so you can just see a little bit of what we talked about.
So the average price per foot of a home in Fredericksburg, excluding any STRs, for the past 12 months was $264.94 per square foot. Mm-hmm. So that's $489,000 for the average house. When you take the STRs, properties that have sold, and I tried to exclude the multiple unit complexes. I just tried to focus on our ones. Anyway, for the last year for STRs, the average price per foot was $395.07, or $846,000. So the average STR sales price was 43% higher than the average non-STR sales price, which is huge. Yeah. Now, to be fair, you know, most STRs sell furnished, so you got to take something out for that. So let's just say we throw 20% of the sales price to furniture, mm-hmm. which is a lot. Yeah. That still makes the average STR 23% higher than the non-STR home. Mm-hmm. And you could pick these numbers apart, you know, because like the sampling for the last year, only about 10% of the homes were actually STRs. Mm-hmm. But so I actually took a 3-year look back as well. And really, same result. STRs just sell for a lot more money than non-STRs.
Yeah. And again, you can check that out on page 2 of the paper. You can also check that out on YouTube. That is going to be on our YouTube channel very soon. Our YouTube channel is FBG News, and if you're here, you probably already know that. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the school district. They had a board meeting on Monday in which they spoke about their attendance. Their attendance is down to 91.08%, down from last year, which was 94%. Trustee Mark Cornett said that was the lowest he'd ever seen it, but it was one thing to note that there have been changes in the COVID guidelines. So last year, if you had COVID-19, but you were still healthy enough to log in and do work online, you were still counted as attending school. This year, if you are out with COVID-19, period, you are not being counted as, attending school. So check out that. You can check out the updated attendance numbers, enrollment numbers, and you can also check out the tax rate that they approved in that meeting as well. They did go lower than last year, a few cents lower. It's still going to raise taxes on some people's homes, but if you had a home that was worth $100,000 last year, and it's $100,000 this year, I believe we wrote that your taxes would not increase. So check out more detail on that. It starts on page 1. Looks like it starts on the right side here. So check that out. And the next thing I want to jump into is sports. And you and I have both been busy. We just went and talked to Coach Zinner.
We did for another episode of Standard Sports Talk.
Yeah.
Fantastic episode. Coach Zinner is always a good one to talk to. But
yeah.
Let's start with Harper.
Yeah.
Harper, they improved to 3-0 for the first time since 2017. So congrats, Longhorns. That's awesome. Longhorn football having a great start to the year. They will be at Rock Springs tomorrow. Sam's been covering them the past 2 weeks, doing a fantastic job. We have maybe perhaps my personal favorite highlight from this week's paper on the front page. You have this fantastic picture. I don't know if I can show it, but this fantastic picture of Wyatt Cottle, a junior wide receiver that Sam took holding an American flag during the 9/11 remembrance, pregame honor celebration, and it's just an awesome photo. And I was editing the photos, and I saw this photo in his folder of photos that he had taken at that game, and I was like, man, that photo is special. And we edited it, and I sent it out to the whole staff here, and just an awesome photo. And I know the Harper community has already reached out to you and talked about that photo. But Harper Longhorns off to a great start. Harper volleyball got some big wins. They got their first district win last week. Fredericksburg football is 3-0 as well. They started off slow against Gonzalez, and then they picked it up in the second half and had to battle through some injuries. But luckily, we got some good news on those injuries, so you can hear about that in the latest podcast as well. But got that game story. Got a preview for Wimberley coming up. We got the Texans coming to town. 2-1 Texans. Really talented football team. It's going to be a good football game. So highly suggest y'all go out to Billy Stadium Friday night and watch that game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Fredericksburg volleyball also doing well. They lost on Tuesday, but they had won 2 straight before that game. So shout out to the Billies, and they're having a good year. We had a podcast with Coach Raymer last week talking about where they're at coming into district play, and we had a story talking about where volleyball is, and just a good addition for that. We had some St. Mary's Apaches results. We had Rams football results. We had Fredericksburg Middle School football results. We had a little bit of everything. So Heritage football, they're 0-3 this year, but we had a good story, a good chat with Coach Shipman, and we'll have more from them next week about where they're at. Maybe look for a podcast with Coach Tim Shipman. I know the Heritage community loves hearing that man talk, and so he loves talking too, and I love chatting with him, so we'll have something from that here in a couple days. But lots and lots of sports, and that is not slowing down.
Nope, for sure. And it's been a blast covering Harper these last couple of weeks, and I can't wait to continue covering them throughout the year. So keep checking out our coverage in the Fredericksburg Standard Radio Post. Keep watching these videos. Keep listening to Standard Sports Talk, which you can get that anywhere you get podcasts, iTunes,
Spotify, Buzzsprout, wherever. I mean, wherever you listen to your podcast, you should be able to find Standard Sports Talk. The Hill Country Sports Pod, as my intro has become, the only Hill Country Sports podcast hosted by the Fredericksburg Standard Radio Post. Some good stuff, and we just had a great conversation with Coach Zender that should be live by the time this video goes out. So make sure you tune into that one because it was a great conversation.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's all that we have for you today. We have more bylines, more headlines on the paper this week, so check it out. September 15th edition. You can find that on newsstands anywhere in Fredericksburg, Texas. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day.
See ya.